The gymnasium lights hit like surgical beams that night, cold and unforgiving, cutting through the silver streamers and fairy lights strung across the rafters. Pinecrest Valley High had transformed the space for the prom into something almost magical, starlight whispers and glitter above the DJ booth. Slow songs mixing with laughter. I stood there in my simple navy blue dress from the local mall, heart pounding, when Principal Ellis called my name for prom queen. Elena Harper.
Me.
The girl who spent senior year organizing supply drives for the community shelter and volunteering late nights at the free clinic on the edge of town. I hadn't expected it. Not in a school where social circles were tightly controlled by money and connections. The applause started hesitant, then grew into whispers that turned into a wave of shock. My stepfather, Victor Langford, rose from his seat like a storm cloud rolling in off the Rockies. At 52, he was all broad shoulders from years running heavy equipment, expensive suit straining at the seams, face flushing red under the spotlights. As school board president and owner of Langford Construction, the company that built half the new housing developments and most of the school renovations, he commanded respect. Or fear. In Pinecrest Valley, population 17,500, nestled 85 miles southwest of Denver, where the mountains loomed large and everyone knew whose truck was whose. He stormed the stage, voice booming over the microphone. There's been a mistake here.
Check those votes again.
This can't be right. His hand gestured wildly toward the crown in Principal Ellis's hands. This girl is nobody's queen. It's a joke. A complete joke. The word hung in the air, repeated like a hammer strike.
Joke.
The crowd fell silent. My cheeks burned. Victor turned to the audience, face twisted in righteous fury. Everyone knows this doesn't make sense. My daughter Sophia deserved this. She's the one with real standing. Sophia sat in the front row in her custom gown he'd driven to Denver to buy, looking mortified but silent. I stood frozen in my off-the-rack dress. Hundreds of eyes on me. Victor grabbed the mic again. Irregularities. We'll sort this out right now. Principal Ellis fumbled, suggesting a review with the prom committee. But Victor wouldn't have it. The crown never touched my head. I left it on the stage, walked out alone while classmates headed to after-parties. The mountain air outside felt sharp, cutting through my humiliation. At home on Ridgeview Lane, the big stone house with its triple garage and perfect family photos lining the walls. Mom waited in the kitchen, still in her robe. Denise had married Victor when I was 13, after Dad passed. He brought Sophia into our blended family, presenting the picture-perfect image for his bored ambitions. Victor called, she said softly, stirring tea. He says it was a misunderstanding. No misunderstanding, I replied, voice steady despite the tears. He just can't stand not controlling everything. She looked away. He wants what's best for the family's reputation. That's summer. I packed for State University on scholarships and work study, switching my major from education to accounting, then specializing in compliance audits. I learned how public funds flowed or got siphoned through contracts, bids, and loopholes. The patterns people thought were hidden told stories if you knew where to look. 6 years later, at 29, I sat in my state-issued sedan outside the Pinecrest Valley Unified School District offices, a low brick building that once housed the original elementary school. My title, Educational Finance Compliance Specialist, sounded dry until you realized it meant hunting irregularities in grant-funded districts. The audit file on my desk had landed like fate, Pinecrest Valley, my hometown, untouched by me since that prom night. Victor still dominated everything. Langford Construction had funneled millions in district contracts over the years. The town ran on construction money and school board politics, with the Rockies casting long shadows over the developments. I parked between oversized trucks bearing Langford decals,
Inside.
The receptionist barely acknowledged me. Auditors in conference room B. 3 days into the documents. The pattern screamed, emergency roof repairs dated during perfect weather weeks. HVAC replacements on systems swapped just 2 years prior. All single bid to Langford Construction. Over $45 million in 5 years. Much through urgent procurement loopholes meant for real crises. The Capital Improvements Fund told the clearest tale, renovations and expansions bypassing competition. I reached for my phone. This is Harper. I'll take the Pinecrest assignment personally. My boss paused. You sure? It's your hometown. That's exactly why. The weight settled differently now. Victor had called me a joke for winning something he couldn't dictate. I'd become the person who could expose how he'd been stealing far more than a crown. Rhonda Ellis, the district's chief financial officer, wheeled in another cart of files on day 4. Her face etched with exhaustion. She wore the look of someone signing off on papers too long without questioning. More from the archives, she said, glancing at the door. I flipped through 2019 folders, the prom year. Facilities maintenance. Special events. She froze when I mentioned the date. You're the Harper girl. Elena. Right? Just Harper now. State auditor. Rhonda set the boxes down carefully. That was quite a scene. I kept my voice even. I'm focused on the financials. But she'd already pulled a specific binder. A $42,000 contract for event hall systems upgrade 2 months before prom. Vendor, Vote Secure Solutions. A name popping up repeatedly beside Langford's bigger deals. Curious timing, I noted. Her laugh came bitter. Everything here has curious timing. The high school gym renovation bids next week, $11.8 million. Single source. Emergency basis, of course. I photographed pages discreetly. Why show me this? She lowered her voice. I have kids in this district. Tired of watching textbook money vanish into Langford pockets.
Plus,
I was on the prom committee. No electronic voting used. Paper ballots. Hand-counted by Community Impact Society volunteers. The pieces aligned sharply. Victor had assumed electronic voting he could influence via vote-secure connections. When I won on merit-based paper system, he panicked, demanding a recount on something non-existent then. He pushed vote-secure installation first thing after becoming board president, framing it as modernization. Rhonda slid another file. Same meeting. Vote-secure approval. Then $2.1 million emergency repairs. Both motioned by Victor. The renovation was an emergency. Drive-by, the work from years ago still looks fresh. Meanwhile, the elementary roof leaks get buckets. My phone buzzed, unknown local. This is Jordan Reyes from the Pinecrest Gazette. Heard you're auditing the books. Been digging patterns myself. Coffee. Rhonda nodded slightly after I agreed to meet in an hour at the Main Street Diner. If you're talking to Jordan, know she's tracked this for years, but the paper hesitates without bulletproof proof. Langford spends heavy on ads. Board meeting next week seals the gym deal. If it passes, his company survives. If not, cash flow crisis. Companies like his lived hand-to-mouth on big wins. The diner smelled of burnt coffee and grease. Jordan, mid-30s, sharp-eyed journalist, slid photocopies across the cracked booth. Community Impact Society documents from prom night. Scoring rubric, merit-based. Weighing service hours. Recommendations. Impact projects, not pure popularity. My breath caught. 320 hours at the shelter. Night supply runs for discharged patients. Teacher letters praising my work. I topped the rankings decisively. Ballots were formality. King/Queen decided by independent panel. Victor couldn't sway. He knew student voting existed but never read full criteria, Jordan explained. Assumed corruption because that's his world, everything for sale. When you won fairly, It shattered him. So he installed VoteSecure to prevent irregularities and began real control. She showed election patterns since, allies winning by razor margins avoiding recounts. Prove financials with your audit. I prove voting patterns. Together we expose what he's stolen. Mom texted, heard you're back. Dinner tomorrow? Victor at his cabin prepping the board vote. The crown wasn't about popularity. It was Victor's first taste of something outside his grip. Now I had days to document his kingdom built on the same control, contracts,
Votes.
everything funneled his way. Back in my hotel room, documents spread across the floor formed a timeline of intent. FOIA requests flew out demanding immediate disclosure on the upcoming $11.8 million vote. Miguel Torres, the lone independent board member who'd survived Victor-funded challenges.
Met me quietly.
They'll stall, he warned. Victor's lawyer is district counsel. State authority overrides, I countered. Handing formal notices. Obstruction risks criminal charges with fraud evidence.
Dr.
Amelia Grant, retired clinic director and community impact panelist, called next. Her modest home brimmed with patient photos. She handed a box of records, meeting minutes, score sheets, even pre-prom correspondence between Victor and VoteSecure discussing data protocols. That night, watching him humiliate you, her voice cracked. He threatened to cut clinic donations, $15,000 we needed. I chose silence over speaking for one girl. Lived with the shame. The irony burned. Victor could have pushed Sophia toward service work. Instead, he assumed money bought it all. Emails showed planning predating prom. He installed VoteSecure post-incident to own future outcomes. Jordan's text. Bank source says Victor liquidating. Transfers spiking. He senses the noose. I compiled the package, bid rigging, conflict of interest, misuse of emergencies. Conservative, $14 million improperly to Langford over 6 years. But needed the visceral link. After hours at the high school, janitor Mr. Lopez remembered me. The trophy case held the crown. Plaque blank. Prom Queen 2019, recipient, line empty. Victor ordered it left that way until verification. Kids called it the ghost crown. Earned but unclaimed. That image crystallized everything, refusal to accept uncontrolled reality. Jordan reserved my public comment spot for Tuesday's meeting. Plan force documents. Criminal referral to freeze vote. Media pressure. Then connect blank plaque to stolen millions at the podium. Boss authorized presentation and DOJ coordination. 6 years ago, Victor declared me fraud on stage he controlled. Tuesday, in his boardroom, I'd reveal real fraud with evidence. Mom's dinner felt smaller. House heavy with Victor's awards. You look tired, she said. Serving childhood casserole. Big meeting tomorrow. She knew the buzz. He's not evil, she whispered. Just needs control to feel safe. Mom. He's stolen from schools. Allegedly. Silence stretched. That prom night, I knew he was wrong. But consequences. Staying silent cost her dignity too. My education partly funded by those contracts. I'm testifying everything. She nodded. I'll be at my sister's. Stay safe. Monday brought partial FOIA responses, stalls claiming privilege. I fired statutes and deadlines. By late afternoon, Rhonda delivered boxes. Victor's been raging at lawyers. Rattled like never. Emails showed Victor tailoring specs to Langford only. Backdating orders. Retroactive approvals. VoteSecure folder chilled me. Prom night's standby invoice. Emergency tabulation rental paid, but unused. Morning of prom email. Verify results quickly. Fabricated inspection photos from a distant condemned site. Metadata proving age. Presentation slides built. Blank plaque. Scoring sheets. Rigged patterns. Falsified emergencies. Money trails. Tuesday dawned humid. Professional suit. Hair back, the auditor. Not the girl from prom. Parking lot overflowed. Boardroom packed. Victor centered with gavel. Face tight with contained panic. Jordan recorded. Miguel ready.
DR.
Grant present. Routine business passed. Public comment. Elena Harper. State Auditor's Office. 5 minutes. I plugged USB.
Mr.
Chairman. This starts with a blank nameplate and ends in accountability. Room erupted. Victor pounded gavel. Stick to business. Miguel motioned to allow projection. Passed narrowly. First slide. Empty 2019 plaque. I let silence build. 6 years ago. Prom queen chosen by merit via Community Impact Society. Service hours. Impact. Recommendations. I earned it with 320 documented shelter hours. Victor darkened. Ancient history. No. Pattern start. Vote secure contracted morning of prom for non-existent electronic voting. Paper ballots used. You assumed control. Declared fraud when denied it. Invoices. Emails cascaded. Installed systems district-wide post-incident. Elections favored allies improbably. Objections flew. Shifted to financials. Pristine gym photos versus proposed $11.8 million emergency. Warehouse pics mismatched. Change orders with numbering gaps proving tampering. Live stream views climbed. Langford received $45 million. $14 million via fake emergencies. Transfers to personal accounts within hours.
DR.
Grant stood despite gavel. 6 years ago, you shamed a girl for fair merit. Tonight we see theft from every child. Motions tabled contract. Demanded recusal. Full audit. Victor frantic. I closed. You thought you controlled that vote. Mr. Langford. Wrong then. Wrong now. Communities watching. Sheriff entered mid-chaos with deputies.
Mr.
Langford. Questions on transfers. Handcuffs clicked as boardroom watch stunned. Victor's eyes met mine. Panic like prom night. Now, realizing no stage to reclaim. This is set up, he spat. Save it, Sheriff replied. Door closed behind him. Room exploded, demands. Arguments. Reporters surging. Rhonda.
Pale.
Agreed to cooperate in hallway. 20 years doing what told. Grandkids deserve better. Jordan. Views exploding. Comments recall old suspicions. Real work loomed, forensics. Tracing. Trials. Victor made bail, but company collapsed without contract. Payroll missed. Loans called. Mansion listed. Assets frozen. Mom relocated permanently. Sophia transferred schools. Funds seized. Agent called. Largest education fraud uncovered. Expanding to neighboring districts. Need you. Driving past the high school. Trophy case, light glowed. Ghost crown remained blank. Mr. Lopez offered engraving. Leave it, I said. Reminder. Some validations internal. Final days. Clinic plaque with my small name. Recovered funds improving facilities. New paper ballots and impact society involvement. Students crowned for genuine service. Billboard once Langford's now spray-painted. Merit matters. Elena was right. Leaving town. Rearview showed shrinking Pinecrest, but enduring lesson. Victor, in custody, learned control's illusion. Real power. Integrity wielded through truth. Unbuyable. Unstealable. Some crowns worn outwardly. Others weaponized quietly. Justice. Merit. Trust. Votes no one overturns. What price power when truth tallies the final count?